All right, everyone, we'll go ahead and get started. We're joined by Associate Head Coach and Defensive Coordinator Doug Belk. Coach, as always, thanks so much for your time, and we can go ahead and open it up for questions. And we will get started with Andy Yanez. Andy?
Hey Doug, how you doing?
What's up, Andy? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I guess I'll just start with a general broad question. Can you give us kind of a peek behind the curtain? What's kind of the mood like when it comes to the defensive side of the ball and kind of where the players at from a spirit standpoint, just in terms of looking ahead at Rice?
Yeah, I think they're in a positive place. We just had came off the field. We had a good practice. We've talked about things that we need to work on to improve to get to where we want to go, and just reemphasize the things that that we need to do to win. And overall, when you play the type caliber teams that we've played, you can't make the type of mistakes that we've made in certain situations. And we got to be better consistently. And so we've been focusing on those things and what we need to do more so than just our opponent. So I think it's a combination of a lot of different things that we have to improve on. They're up for the challenge, and for them the messages. I mean, the season's not over. I mean, we're 3 games in. We got 9 more guaranteed opportunities, and we haven't started conference play yet. We got a rivalry game for a trophy this weekend, and so our guys are excited about that and really just getting back to work. So things are going well. Not as well as we would like them, obviously, but this is the position that we're in, and we got to make the best of where we're at if we want to get to where we want to go.
Thanks, Andy. We'll send it along to Chris Baldwin. Chris?
Hey, Doug. With the issue stopping the run against Kansas, did you think that was that more physical, Kansas's physical ability or missed assignments? Or how did you, look at that after looking at the tape?
I think it's a combination of a lot of different things. Obviously, you got to give credit to their coaching staff and their players and the way that they executed at a high level. It was almost flawless. Didn't make a lot of mistakes. And we made more mistakes than they did. And when you play a ball control possession option offense, you can't allow those guys to extend drives. And we weren't able to get off the field a lot on critical situations. 3rd and 10 going in, quarterback counter for a touchdown. We had them backed up when it was 21-14. We sent them pressure. We missed the quarterback. He scrambles for a first down. And then the list goes on, of things that you have to make those plays in those critical times. And, we have to be in the right call as well to stop those guys. And I think they did a really good job. We didn't lack physical toughness and we didn't lack effort, just the eye discipline and the things that it takes to be consistent versus that type of offense. We saw 10 different personnel groupings, shifts, motions, and then you add the option in with that. Very difficult to defend, and we didn't do a good enough job defending it, obviously. But you really just got to give those guys a lot of credit for what they were able to do. And we have to fix the issues that we had and things that we did not do well.
Thanks, Chris. We'll pass it along to Rob Sellers. Rob?
Thanks, Andrew. Coach, I'm just wondering from your history if you've ever kind of had a spell where, the deal with like not necessarily missed assignments, but like the penalties and stuff. I know Coach talked about it Monday just in terms of needing obviously clean those personal fouls and stuff like that up. But you ever had a stretch before, and is there really anything that can be done? I mean, these are things obviously you talk with players about probably almost daily, but what's the approach to trying to clean that up?
Yeah, we've had 33 penalties, I think, in the first 3 games, and there's enough blame to go around as us as a team, but ultimately you guys know me well, and it's our jobs to get that fixed as coaches, and we have to find a way creatively, whatever it is, to reach our guys to let them know what's acceptable and not acceptable, and it starts with us. And then secondly, you got to be able to focus on your job and do what you need to do for the team more than what you think is important for yourself as a player. So that's my message to our guys, is focus more on how you play and what you're able to do to help our team more than how you look or what's going on secondary to the game, and all those other things outside of doing your job are distractions to what we're trying to get done. So as far as penalties goes, it's really the pre-snap and post-snap penalties that we have to get cleaned up across the board. I mean, things are going to happen during the play. Pass interference, holding, a lot of that stuff is technique and discipline that we got to continue to coach our guys on offensively and defensively and on special teams, because we've had penalties in all 3 phases. But overall, it's just a daily commitment to being disciplined, to do things the right way. And you can't get bored doing the things the right way. And sometimes it gets monotonous and you do it over and over again. But those are the things that we have to be able to do and the habits that we have to create to be able to be a championship level team. not only do that, just to win games in general. So those are the things that we're talking about now. And I think that we'll continue to get better on that because we're emphasizing. A lot of times you get what you emphasize. So we got to do a better job of just continue to develop those habits.
Thanks, Rob. We'll send it back over to Chris Baldwin. Chris?
Doug, Dana was talking a lot about the need to get guys to just do their job rather than, try to do, maybe play hero or do too much. Have you seen that on defense as well? And how do you sort of, approach that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, anytime you lose, there's a magnifying glass on every little thing that happens. And when you win, sometimes things are overlooked. But a lot of the issues that you create are about the habits that you practice and that you play with. And so for us, I'm just speaking defensively, sometimes when you make big plays in the game, you may miss those details. And right now, the biggest thing is obviously we watched the game Saturday. Our eyes were in the wrong place at times. And that is the biggest challenge when you face a scheme like we faced. And if you don't play, assignment-based football, then those things get exposed. And some of those things got exposed on Saturday from a lack of discipline, not from how we played and the effort that we played with, just with all the different moving parts, guys doing exactly what they need to do. But it's our job to teach those guys why it's important to do it that way. And those are things that we're focused on right now, getting all that cleaned up. And obviously, each and every week is a different challenge. And this week, Rice will present a lot of the same challenge with multiple personnel groups, shifts, motions, and they're well coached and they have very intelligent guys. So it'll be a very similar talent challenge this week as well.
Send it over to Rob Sellers. Rob?
Thanks, Andrew. Coach, as far as Rice this week, some of the things that jumps out to you on paper, obviously with their quarterback and McCaffrey now playing receiver, what are a few things that you guys will be concerned with heading into the game?
Yeah, multiple personnel groups. Obviously, I think a lot of their head coach and their coaching staff, right here in the same city, I think they do an outstanding job with the players that they have. They're physical up front, kind of old school mentality, run first mentality. But the thing that they're even better on now is they threw for 300 yards last week in a win. So they'll have some momentum. They won a couple games over the last couple of weeks, and we've lost a couple games. So our guys being ready to play versus their confidence and their scheme. But the quarterback is really good. I think he gives them a spark. Started off at Mississippi State, went to junior college, and then transferred in. Kind of took over halfway through that first game. But he has a live arm, quick throwing motion, able to get the balls out of his hand, can make every throw, and he can extend plays. And he's got a couple rushing touchdowns in there off of broken plays. Obviously, the first three quarterbacks we played have been really good and athletic and had a lot of ability throwing the ball as well. So he's not much different than those guys. And then at the receiver position, Rosner's been around for a long time, number 2, vertical threat, 6'2". 200 plus pounds, really good player. Did not play against us last year. He got hurt against Arkansas prior to our game. But he's a threat. And then I think McCaffrey's a really good player. And the more he plays, the better he's going to get. He's a full-time receiver now. They have 2 good running backs as well. They play more than that, but the top 2 guys have been very productive. And then when you look at, the multiple tight ends they play with, and then, the physicality that they play with up front, the added element of, throwing for 300 yards along with what they do in the run game, they have a complete scheme.
Pass it along to Andy Yanez. Andy?
Doug, last week you talked about Art Green and Alex Hogan. I'm curious, 3 games into the season, if you could talk a little bit about the secondary overall and kind of what your assessment of that group has been 3 games in.
Yeah, it's been a lot of moving parts. The stability of the group, has been Alex Hogan, Art Green, Javarius Owens, Hassan Hippolyte, and Jace Rogers. And then we've sprinkled in some other guys, and we've prepared a lot of other guys to play. But we played 3 nail-biting games, 2 nail-biters in the first 2 games. And then last week, with all the shifts, motions, and all the different things that we were dealing with, it was not an opportunity for us to get as many people in the game. But, we played Garrison Vaughn, Tabo Waniki, and Antonio Brooks at safety. And then DeMarcus Griffin has played some at nickel. But overall, I think we're a work in progress. I think Art Green has done an outstanding job. He's kind of exceeded expectations, and he's grown into his own, what we thought he could be. We challenged Alex Hogan after the Texas Tech game, and he played better last week. But the thing with him is he's a playmaker, and we just one of those things where focusing on details and doing things right consistently propels his game, and he can help us win games. He's shown that before, and he's got to continue to do that. But I feel confident that, he's going to be a big time player for us, and he'll continue to develop and grow. The more snaps he gets, the better he'll play. Jace is probably playing the best football that he's played of his career since he's been here, affecting the game in a lot of different ways. Hassan has played a lot. Obviously going to keep developing other guys behind him. And then when you look at Javarius, he's kind of the leader back there right now. He's playing like a big time football player for us with the physicality that he played with last week, against Kansas, and then the range that he possesses in the back end with some of the plays he was able to make against Texas Tech. He was limited in the first game with injury, so getting him back healthy and him going has been big for us. And, we're not the same when he's not out there. And then you look at the quality reps that a veteran guy like Tabo Waniki has been able to give us, and then the rotation between, Antonio Brooks and Garrison Vaughn kind of coming off of the bench and providing some depth at the safety position. We just have to continue to develop corners and, Justice and Latif and Jalen Emery and some of those young guys that we have. They'll continue to get more playing time as the season goes on.
Send it back to Chris Baldwin.
Doug, has it been hard building that depth at corner you guys had last year, and did people sort of take that for granted, going into this year?
No, it's always a challenge, when you lose high quality players, and not just good college football players, but we have 4 guys off of our roster that are active on NFL rosters last year, just defensively, and Pepe and Marcus were special players, and they were able to do things that, I hadn't coached a lot of guys who've been around a lot of guys that could do. That's why they are where they're at. So it's never easy replacing those guys. You kind of just develop guys to increase their role when guys like them leave because their skill sets are different. We have more length right now and a little bit bigger, but those guys played every position in the secondary. We moved them based off of the scheme. So now we're just developing other guys to increase our scheme, especially at corner. I think our depth at safety is good. It's just, we have good depth at corner. We're just young in a lot of positions. So we just got to keep coaching them and keep getting opportunities for those guys to get reps. And we have to play better consistently to be able to use those guys and put them in positions to be successful.
Coach, a question from James Mueller. I know you touched on Rice a little bit, but as you look at the differences from last year to this year offensively in Rice, what are those differences? Where are you seeing that marked improvement?
Yeah, I think, very consistent in what they do, but I think they're more explosive offensively with able to throw the ball down the field more. I think the quarterback is doing a really good job of getting them in the right plays and executing plays. Obviously, you look at their production has been really good, and I think, McCaffrey gives them an added advantage outside along with having Rosner back. And plus, Isdale, number 6, coming in from West Virginia. He's a veteran player who's played a lot of football. There's kind of the number 2, number 3 guy that they rotate in and out when they're in 11 personnel. And so then you look at the tight ends and number 1, the running back, he's a punt returner. He's a running back. I mean, he broke some big runs against USC, and then 30 is kind of the bruiser of the 2. And so just being able to get those guys in space and being creative, and they still get in their sub packages with 21 personnel and 22 and 12 and get big and play physical as well. So just present a lot of different issues with the scheme that they have. And then their players have really increased the explosive capabilities of their offense. So it'll be a challenge. And, throwing for 300 yards last week for Rice, along with the rushing attack is going to be a big deal for us to be ready and be prepared for.
We'll keep it moving with Chris Baldwin, and then we'll take a couple more after that. Chris?
Doug, how hard is it to lose Malik, and what have you seen from he obviously worked really hard, and what have you seen from Jamal in his chances?
Yeah, that was a tough deal, man. I think the world of Malik. I love him to death, and he's worked hard to get to where he's at, and he's overcome a lot of things off the field. And when he transferred in, he did everything we asked him to do, and he's battled some injuries. And, he played in that Texas Tech game. He finished the game with and blew his pec out, and, shows his level of toughness, and it's hurting him that he can't be a part of this. And, it's a very interesting because he's an old school throwback downhill linebacker who plays very physical. And, not having him, he's taking the majority of reps at that position. And then Donovan Mutin was in and out of the game with injuries. So, open doors for Manny. Obviously, he's played a little bit, but not in that role. And then you look at Jamal Morris and Cheeks. Those guys have taken the majority of the reps with Malik being out for the year. And then, Donovan in and out of the lineup last week with injuries and didn't play very much. So, gives those guys a chance to develop. But the thing about Jamal is I think he's an ultimate competitor. He's embraced his role, and whatever we ask him to do, he's done. And he's actually exceeded expectations up to this point, just as far as his work ethic, the way that he approaches the game. He wants to be great, and as well as that, I just love the guy because he's a great teammate. Never complains. All he does is work, and he's going to be a big contributor here for a long time. And I'm excited about where he's at. You look at the combination of him and Manny, and then Tremarcus Cheeks, and then you look at the young guys like JG and Traylon Payne. They all haven't played a ton of ball, but they're very talented, and I think the more they play, the better they'll get.
How's Donovan doing now, and what would expect this week?
No, he's doing well, but just some nicks and knacks, and playing that position is very difficult, from a physicality standpoint, especially when you're playing a team like Kansas and they're running the ball and being physical up front. And so he's been battling a few things, but he's doing well, and we expect him to be ready to go. And he's kind of like I've mentioned several times that he's kind of like the quarterback of the defense. So you take the quarterback away, and then you take Malik away. Now we just got to revamp, and so we got to keep coaching these other guys. And I think they did a really good job of being prepared and being ready to go and taking advantage of their opportunity. But I think they're only going to continue to get better. And then Manny and Jamal and Traylon and some of those guys just bring a different level of athleticism as well. So the more they play the position, the better they'll get. And they all were high school safeties that were converted to linebackers. So I think seeing all these reps is only going to increase their confidence and production.
We'll keep it open if there's one or two more for Coach before we let him go. We'll send it over to Andy Yanez for the final question. Andy?
Yeah, Doug, my final question is just in terms of the defensive line. Something that Clayton Tune mentioned last week was just when it came to from the offensive side, it was just the little things, the details that they had to get corrected going forward. I'm curious when you look at, I guess, the defensive line specifically with how the game against Kansas went and how hard it was to be able to contain Daniels. Is it much more of just being able to, like you said, focus on doing your job, focusing on the little things, or what's kind of the approach going into Rice and overall into the remainder of the season?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a lot of things, and I'll answer this question to the best of my ability. But overall, each and every week is a different opportunity to be evaluated. And one of the things that we do well is play physical up front and rush the passer. And I think one of the biggest strengths of Kansas football team is they kind of neutralized us up front because we weren't able to really have a chance to really rush the passer and get vertical up front and do some of the things that we do very well. So credit to them on that. And then on every level, at defensive line, at linebacker, and in secondary, we got a lot of work to do to get to where we want to go. So I wouldn't specifically say anything about the defensive line. I think they played pretty well, and the physicality is there. And my message is that I've been preaching more than anything is if you look at the game, there's a lot of good in every game, but it's eliminating the bad stuff and the big plays and the explosive plays that is the difference in winning and losing. So the physicality is there, the effort's there. It's just we have to have a better level of consistency and performance to get to where we want to go. So, I wouldn't pinpoint anything. Those guys have graded out well for the most part. Obviously, the mental errors at every level in the Kansas game. And then if you look at the first couple games, it's just cleaning up the details, and exactly what Clayton Tune said is the goal for our entire team. And that's been our head coach's message. And that's been my message as well, to just focus on the details, doing your job. Let's talk more work. And that's what we got to do.
Gotcha. Thanks, Doug.
Coach, thanks so much for your time, and best of luck on Saturday.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody, we're going to pick back up here with tight end Christian Trahan. Christian, thanks as always so much for your time. We can go ahead and get started. We'll just open up questions, asking media to use the raise your hand tool And we will wait just a moment as questions come in. And we can go and get started with James Mueller. James?
Yeah, hey Christian, how's it going?
What's up, man?
Yeah, so I was wondering, just Dana was talking about how you've been a little banged up to start the season, just how you're feeling at this point. Are you getting to that point? He's talked about, wanting to get you more involved in the passing game, just sort of how you're feeling to this point.
Yeah, I just been battling something since fall camp, but I mean it's a minor issue. I'm getting better every week and getting more comfortable moving around every week. So as that goes on, I'd imagine my role going up, but I'm just doing whatever I need to do to help the team out at this point.
Thanks, James. We'll send it over to Chris Baldwin. Chris?
Hey, Christian, how tough is that, having to deal with sort of, something that's limiting you, and how have you sort of adjusted to it?
It's hard, but you just got to find different ways to get through it, different ways to ease the pain. So I mean, everybody's at this point in the season. Once you start, they tell you the first day of fall camp is going to be the best you feel. After that, you're going to be banged up. Everybody's going to be banged up. So you just got to learn how to cope with it and keep playing and be there for the team.
Thanks, Chris. We'll keep it open here as questions continue to come in, and pick back up with James Mueller. James?
Yeah, Christian, have y'all been able to pinpoint? I know Clayton's talked about little things, but just what's been keeping y'all from that consistency you want on offense, rather than just, having spurts of scoring like y'all did in the first quarter or the second half of the past 2 weeks, compared to, being able to just continuously sustain drives?
Yeah, aside from us not being able to move the ball the way we want to, because us in-house, we know how powerful our offense can be. But aside from that, it's just dumb penalties, just getting behind the sticks and playing, having to get 15 yards instead of 10 yards, just doing dumb stuff, personal fouls, stuff like that. Just stuff that's not going to win us football games.
Thanks, James. We'll send it back over to Chris Baldwin.
Hey, Christian, Dana was talking about how he met with the captains on Sunday, and was saying how, this is sort of the pivotal point on which way the season's going to go. Have you gotten that sense, and can you see that sense of urgency this week?
Yeah, it's definitely a sense of urgency, which it's sad that he has to tell us that, because that's how we should be playing already. But now it's on the front line because it's almost a do or die, and I feel like everybody knows that now. It's time to make a decision, and it's going to tell us who our football team is and what we're all about this week and how we bounce back and play against Rice.
Christian, I'll toss one in here as well. Just when you look at Rice, what sort of challenges do they present defensively?
They just do a whole bunch of different stuff. Like, we've seen 4 down, odd fronts, and they do everything. They run everything. They're going to heat us up. They're going to send us a lot of blitzes, which we haven't done a very good job of. So that's going to challenge us a lot too, because they send a lot of different guys. They show a lot of different looks. So it should be fun for us. It's just another opportunity to go out there and get better.
We'll keep it going with James Mueller.
Yeah, Christian, I know it wasn't in your control this week, but the first 2 weeks you've been perfect with coin toss stuff. Any secrets to that?
Yeah, it's actually a testament to my buddy Sept Green. That was the captain last year. He told me to always go with heads, so I've stuck with heads the whole time, and it's done me pretty good.
We'll keep it going with Andy Yanez.
Hey, Christian, both Dana and Doug have kind of mentioned how the message to the players this week has been having everyone kind of focus on doing their jobs. I'm curious from a player's perspective, what have you guys reiterated that message among each other? What are those conversations like heading into Rice?
Yeah, it's just when it comes down to it, it's just doing your 111. Like, everybody on the field has a job to do, and in order for us to all be successful, every single person has to do their job. It's not like basketball, one person can make a play. Like, one guy can make a play and another guy has a bad play and it messes up the whole thing. So we all just have to be in sync, just playing as a team and just not doing extra stuff and just focusing on your job and just doing that to the best of your ability.
Thanks, Andy. We'll continue along with Chris Baldwin.
Christian, you mentioned the penalties. Do you have a sense of, where they're coming from? Is it guys are getting too emotional, or just, not concentrating through? Have you sensed any kind of theme from what that's coming from?
It's a mixture of a lot of things. Just the way we practice. We haven't been practicing the best. We don't practice how we play, and that's I'm not speaking on my team. I'm speaking on myself too. We haven't been practicing how we want to play, and it's showing on Saturdays. We're not playing the best. We're letting our emotions get the best of us at times, and just making bad decisions that's hurting the team and making them in really really bad situations.
We'll send it over to Joseph Duarte. Joseph.
Christian, I just want to clarify and double check. Is what you're going through? Is it a physical thing? Is it injury related?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a physical thing. Just banged up.
Is this from this season, or was it any carryover from last year?
No, it's all happened this year. This in this off season. This year.
Has it? He mentioned practice has been an issue. Has that limited you in terms of just getting out there and practice?
From
Dana
time to time, but
yeah.
I'm out there whether I'm practicing or not. I'm out there getting the mental reps and working. So whether I'm on the sideline with my pads on, or I'm getting a workout in, or I'm out there at practice, I'm getting my reps in.
Gotcha. You regardless of whether how much you do, you know this system. Have you been able to work with the other tight ends, specifically Magnus? I mean, you're going to be gone after this year, and those guys will be here. Is there some things that you've been able to help them with, or share with them to kind of bring them along?
Definitely, I've been able to help them a lot, just being with them all the time, showing them how to do certain things, how to study film, just how to do the extra things, and just basically be a pro and learn how to be a pro. And that's they're coming along good, man. I think we're going to be set up here for the future, but not looking towards the future, but those are going to be good players.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll continue along with James Mueller.
Yeah, Christian, last year y'all headed into the Rice week, coming off a tough loss from Tech, and really used that to sort of just springboard y'all to 11 straight wins. Coming off, now 2 tough losses. You view this week sort of similar to what it was like last year. You feel like it could be that springboard that y'all need?
Yep, it's definitely going to be a game that we need to win, not just because of the opponent. It wouldn't have mattered if we were playing Temple or anybody next. With this our mindset now is just going 1-0 every week, and not getting caught up in the hype or anything else. It's tunnel vision on 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 every week.
Thanks, James. We'll keep it open if there's 1 or 2 more for Christian before we let him go. Christian, appreciate your time very much and wish you best of luck on Saturday.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Thank y'all.
All right, everyone, we'll pick back up here with Javarius Owens. Gio, thanks so much as always for your time. We'll go ahead and open up questions here for the media. Just ask that you all use the raise your hand tool. We'll get things passed along your direction. We can go ahead and lead off with Andy Yanez. Andy? Andy, you got us okay?
I can't hear him.
My bad. Yeah. Sorry about that. Hey, Jill, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just overall, kind of the message overall from Doug Belk, Holgerson, and Christian as well has been just kind of the emphasis heading into Rice is focusing on going 1-0 this week, and everyone kind of doing their job. But can you talk a little bit about what kind of that message is from the defensive backs perspective? How is that group specifically approached that message?
Yeah, we're really just trying to, lock in on our keys and just eliminate the mistakes that we've made over the past three games, so we can get those cleaned up and turn these buses and things that we've had into big plays going our way, moving forward. So that's the message in the back end. This is the message on the defense, and I'm pretty sure it's getting relayed around the whole team. So that's what we're trying to focus on right now.
Thanks, Andy. We'll send it over to James Mueller.
Yeah, Gio, going into this Rice week, Dana and Coach Belk have both talked about just, how much improved this Rice offense is from a year ago. What has stood out to you about their offense, the challenges they present from what you've seen from them on film?
Yeah, they have a different quarterback than what we faced last year. So he seems like he knows the offense well. They seem like they're playing well as a team and with confidence. They just beat Louisiana last week, so I'm pretty sure they're coming in the game confidence and ready to compete. So we have to we can't overlook them or anybody on the schedule clearly. So we just gotta lock in and play our keys and try to eliminate all the busts and play sound 11 guys to the ball type of football. So, and I think all the mistakes will start to take care of themselves.
We'll continue along with Chris Baldwin. Chris?
Hey, what's the mood of this defense after the last few games? Are you guys upset? Are you? I mean, what sort of been the mood defensively?
Is not really going to say upset, but it's just like like when you can sense that you're constantly missing opportunities to be what you can be. So like it's kind of like a disappointment that we got to get it turned around, because we know we're a great defense and we know what we're capable of doing, and we haven't put that on film either these past 3 weeks. So it's I feel like you guys are going to see a very motivated group here moving forward, knowing that we have a standard to uphold and we haven't been upholding that standard, and we've been letting the city down, and we're working overtime to get all this stuff fixed right now so we can go and put a complete product on film.
We'll keep it open for additional questions if there are some for Gio. We'll continue along with Andy Yanez.
Gio, just overall, kind of a broad question about the defensive backs groups as a whole. I'm curious from your perspective, how do you feel 3 games in? Just if you had to give like the defensive back group an assessment, like 3 games in, how do you feel like you guys have done early on in the season?
I feel like we're matching routes well. I feel like we definitely need to work on our tackling, open field tackles, squeezing tackles, and just our discipline, reading your keys and trusting your keys. We got to play with a lot more confidence. We have a very talented group back there. I stand firm on that hill that we have a very talented secondary, and we just got to put the players together, go out there and show it. We've been making plays, but we've also been giving up little stuff like there. Over time, that little stuff starts to add up when not enough plays are being made. So extremely confident in this group that we have. And we just got to go out there and put a full game together so we can show how dominant we can be.
Continue along with Chris Baldwin.
Dana was saying how he met with the captains on Sunday and went over some things. What did you take from that meeting, and what do you what did you pick up from there that you want to utilize?
It was really just seeing what we got to do to rally the team, and just understanding that this isn't last year's team. Like, we can't hang on to the identity of last year. Like, this year, people are wanting to beat us. We are the target. We are the target of our league, and we're the target of every team that's going to face us. So we can't go in the team knowing that, okay, we worked our ass off in the summer. Excuse my language. Yes, we've worked hard. We've worked hard in the summer, and we put in the work in. And yes, we do have a very talented team, but we have to, if we don't go out there each and every week and show it, and everybody does their 111 in their job and lock in on their job, and that's from top down, from head to toe, coaches to players. If we don't get more serious about our jobs and lock in about our jobs, then it's not going to go how we plan. So we got to make sure that we all stay committed to what we had going before the season started.
We'll continue along with Joseph Duarte.
Hey, how's it going, Gio?
I'm good, man. How you been?
Good, thank you. Coach Holgerson was telling us that the way things have gone early on, the ability to maybe get some of that depth in the secondary hasn't. It's been a little bit slower coming. Have you gotten a feel for maybe some of the younger guys? Whether it's at the safety or the corner spots, just of how they're going to get brought along. You can't kind of throw them into the fire all the time, but have you seen some positives that you can take away from getting those guys some work when they can?
Yeah, it's just when you have a young group, you kind of don't like. It's one thing to see them ball and make plays in practice, but everybody's different under the light. So you kind of got to get them a feel, make sure they're not too nervous and things like that, and stuff like that, like technique and things don't go out the window. But I think guys like Jalen Emily, he's doing well. He was kind of jittery at first, but I feel like he's getting into himself, and he's going to give us quality reps in the future. And other guys, these guys aren't young guys, but like they'll be able to come in and provide valuable minutes for us with Antonio Brooks, Garrison Vaughn, and things like that. I feel like they can definitely step up in the back end when their number is called, and they'll make plays for us. So just seeing them guys come in and do what they're doing. They've been playing well, and I think a guy like Antonio Brooks is going to make a lot of plays for us as well coming in.
Once upon a time, Gio Rice would run 45 times a game, maybe 50, and just keep it on the ground. Now they sort of do a run pass balance. Do you guys is that something where you look at some of the guys that they have out there, whether it's Rosner or McCaffrey, that's something you guys need to be on alert for now?
I really think it's more of a self evaluation. Like at the end of the day, we play defense, so we don't really get to control too much of what's going on. So truly, we really just got to accept it how it comes. So this year they've been 50-50 run pass, but I feel like we'll be good in both of the areas. So however it comes, we just got to be ready for it and ready to stop it early.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll send it over to Chris Baldwin and then keep it open if there's one or two more beyond that. Chris?
Gio, Doug Belk was talking about, the physicality you're playing with this year and how you sort of taking that to another level. Is that something conscious? Did you come into this year, wanting to be even more, a physical presence? And is that something you worked on?
Yes, sir. I've had a lot of team goals and for our success this season, but the team can't be better if I don't come in and play better. So that's definitely something that I've tried to work on in my game, whether it be physicality or how I am in the post and things like that. I'm just trying to improve all areas of my game as I'm taking another year in this defense, just trying to up my play style as much as I can. And I think it'll ultimately help the team.
We'll continue along with Joseph Duarte.
Gio, if I could follow up on that, you play a position that by nature requires, some aggressiveness. You gotta sort of put it out there all on the line at sometimes. Is that something that you grew into, or does this go back to high school and stuff where this is sort of the type of position you relish to be in? You like to be the one that maybe sends a message, whether it's over the middle hit or something like that.
Yeah, most def. High school, I played both ways, but you never feel like you really into the game until you hit somebody or things like that. So like I always liked offense, but I never felt into the game until I made a play on defense and made some contact with somebody and things like that. So yeah, just all the coaches that I've had, whether it be high school, college with Coach Belk, they've always taught like downhill mentality. Make sure you put your face on the guy. And, if you're in a position to make a forceful tackle, then make that forceful tackle, but do it within the scheme. So I definitely feel like our whole defense takes pride in that.
You have to also kind of pull back some because it looked like at some moments, at least this past week, not you particular, just in general, that there was a little bit over pursuit on stuff. Is that sort of where the good intentions can turn into bad because you're a little over aggressive and maybe it causes a missed tackle or not to read a line or an angle the right way?
Yeah, you can definitely over pursue things and stuff like that, but you don't ever want to slow your players down. Like if you over pursue something, then you got to trust that you set a good enough edge and your teammates are going to swarm and rally. Like missed tackles are going to happen. It's a game. It's a game. We're playing football at the end of the day, so missed tackles are going to happen. You just ultimately you don't want it to lead to catastrophic plays. So as long as everybody's swarming and things like that, then you really can't. You don't want to tell a player that he's giving too much effort or you slow a player too much down. Then now he's kind of hesitating and second guessing what he sees. So Belk never really tries to slow us down. It's just try to correct your angles to the ball and 11. And if 11 guys are to the ball, then if somebody misses a tackle, then it has to be a bang bang play after that. So that's how we operate.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll send it over to Andy Yanez and then give the last question to Chris Baldwin. Andy?
Gio, 3 games into the season, is there a lesson or takeaway that either you personally or as a defense as a whole that you guys have taken away just early on through the first 3 games that you might not have known going into the season?
Yeah, it's really just the biggest takeaway is trying to figure out what type of defense we were going to be this year. You know, like I said, we're done with last year and things like that. So we know we had a great defense then. So we're trying to see what ways we can improve and how can we go better from last year. And right now, what we put on film hasn't been a step in the right direction. So now we're just trying to see, watching this tape, you know, we've watched the tape at least 4 times, just trying to see, you know, is it a fatigue issue? What's the issue? What things can we clean up, like from a technique standpoint, scheme standpoint, and just getting it together. But I feel like we got the right guys that will be able to figure everything out, you know, this week and moving forward, and we'll put a lot of better stuff on tape for sure.
Thanks, Andy. We'll send the last question to Chris Baldwin. Chris?
Gio, Belk was saying how, you know, Donovan was in and out of that game, you know, with injuries. I mean, how tough is that on you guys as a defense? And, you know, knowing him, you know, he seems like a guy like you who really loves to play. I mean, could you tell how hard that was on him?
Yeah, I mean, Donnie, he's a very important part of this defense. You know, he gets us going a lot. You know, he's a captain on the team. So when he's not out there, you know, the next guy in has to step up and do a great job in that aspect. But I have full faith that Donnie's gonna be okay. He's a very tough guy, ultimate competitor, you know, and he's a leader on this team. So I know if he can, then he's going to go out there and lay it all out for us, no question about it. So I have no concerns, you know, about him and his health issues or injuries or whatever, you know.
Gio, appreciate your time very much and wish you best of luck on Saturday.
Most definitely. Appreciate y'all having me.
Thanks.
There you go.
All right, everyone, we are joined by punter Laine Wilkins. Laine, thanks so much for your time here today. We'll go ahead and open it up to questions from the media and just ask our media to use the raise your hand tool. We'll give it just a moment for those questions to come in. And we can go ahead and get started with Andy Yanez. Andy?
Hey, Laine, how you doing?
G'day, Andy. Not too bad, mate.
Sweet. From a special teams perspective, I'm curious because it's not a perspective you get to listen to a lot, but how would you assess just overall what as a punter from special teams overall, how have you guys assessed the first 3 games of the season and kind of the way that they've shaken out?
I think special teams wise and specialist wise, we have worked pretty well. As you've seen, obviously the first game, Bubba Baxter obviously managed to hit a kick that obviously put us in front, and then obviously also the Texas Tech game again, with Bubba obviously, and once again kicking field goal to get us in front. So personnel wise for the specialists, we've been going pretty well. We're all pretty confident. We've sort of been together now for most of it, like the core of us, with myself, Bubba, and also Gavin Gately, the long snapper. We've all been together now for, this will be our 3rd year, I think. We've pretty much been working together, so we're all pretty well. And then also you look at sort of the coverage team with the kickoff, and then even with punt, the guys that I've been working with, I have a lot of confidence with. And as I said, I believe special teams wise, we've been going pretty well, or holding our own, I guess we can say.
Thanks, Andy. We'll send it over to Joseph Duarte.
Hey, Laine, how you doing, man?
Not too bad, Joseph.
Hey, question. Right now, I believe you're 6th in the country in punting. You know, you've been here now a few years. Is this the best you felt, or did you go through any type of changes in the off season, sort of to make that, you know, now that you've been here 3 years, or has it pretty much been the same stuff?
I think it's been pretty similar. It's more still just gaining confidence, because as yourself knows, like, I obviously didn't play this game prior to coming over here. So I think now starting to get into a rhythm and understanding all the off-season workouts and how it all works. And then just a lot more confident in myself, and also the punt team and the punt scheme. So just that's probably the big thing, feeling pretty confident with where I'm at and knowing my ability and believing that I should still be here and hopefully continue on. I still have a lot of work to do, as obviously majority of the team. There's still a few things that I can improve. But as I said, yeah, decently happy with how it is so far. But as obviously it's a long season and we've got a long way to go.
You've had a couple of punts that your cover team has down, with the 1 or the 2. I know that's stuff that you guys practice and during the week, but to have that kind of coverage team probably deserves more than a pat on the back for what they do. But how much is that a big part of what you guys do in terms of placement and being able to get your guys down there in position to make plays like that?
Yeah, it's a huge thing. It was obviously last year we had a couple of great guys, which was like Jake Herslow and Cole McGowan and those sort of fellas that obviously graduated and moved on now. So we had to work on it a fair bit with the fellas like Peyton Sawyer and CJ Nelson, getting those guys to be aware of or being available that I'm actually going to put the ball where they need to be. So we have been working on it a fair bit, and it also goes out to the shield, which is obviously Derek, Donnie, and Nelson Caesar. So Derek Parrish, Donnie Mutin, and Nelson Caesar. They guys take a pretty big hit for me. They get hit by guys that are 300 pounds to give me enough time to actually get the ball down and pin them within the 5-yard line. So we have been working a lot at it, and it's just started to show off now, which has been really good for myself personally, but also the punt team.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll send it over to Chris Baldwin. Chris?
Hey, Laine, you mentioned those pressure kicks that, the first 2 weeks, last minute. I mean, what does it say about Baba that, he hadn't kicked in a game for a while before this year, an actual game situation? What does it say that he's able to, sort of step in and do that, right away?
I think it shows a lot of growth from Baba. Obviously, the story of where he's come from and come to over here, and I think it shows a lot of growth and also trust in myself being the holder, and also, as mentioned before, Gavin Gately, the long snapper. So us three have actually all moved in together. So we all live together and are in each other's pocket pretty much all day, every day. So I think I believe that helps a lot with, once again, trust. Getting the guys. So we've been, as I said, we've been living together for the last 8 months now, and he felt confident with me holding the ball and then also Gavin snapping it back. So he only has to worry about kicking and doing his routine. And as I said, it just shows a lot of growth for I guess he's still a young man compared to me. So it's a lot of growth for him.
We'll continue along with Joseph Duarte.
So Laine, let's get to the fun stuff here. And you've been in our great country several years now. Anything jump out at you? Things that you've learned to like? Maybe weren't aware of? You own a pair of boots yet, or a cowboy hat, or anything like that?
I'm working on getting the boots. I'm hoping to get out to Cavender's, I believe, is the best place to get it. But the big one that's probably really got me that I've thoroughly enjoyed, I think it's a real Texan, is Buc-ee's. That place is just unbelievable. You whatever you need, you can find it. That sort of blew my mind, because I remember a few of the boys initially telling me that, you've got to go to this gas station, and I was like, oh well, it's a gas station. Well, how impressive can it be? And then lo and behold, you show up and it's damn near a Walmart. So it was that was a pretty cool thing, and it was I've got a little bit of Buc-ee's merch here and there that I need to also send some back to my family back home. So that's probably the big one that's stuck out to me.
Your fellow countryman Dane Roy once told us that his most confounding thing was he didn't understand queso. He's called it liquid cheese, and then he was also a big Vegemite guy. Are you sort of in that camp, or have you come over to the side that Tex-Mex, all that kind of stuff is won you over?
Yeah, I'm slowly working into it. As I mentioned before, moving in with Bubba. Bubba actually cooks his own queso, and he's slowly getting me to come around that it's actually not too bad. It was a bit interesting to start with, because it's like you're sort of eating just a thing of melted cheese, but I was like, I might as well give it a shot. But also the Vegemite, I'm a big Vegemite guy, as you're probably aware. I've actually got my parents coming over they should land tomorrow night. So they're meant to be bringing me another supply of Vegemite and a few Tim Tams and things like that. So it should be pretty nice for me once they get here.
Well, we need to get you an NIL with Buc-ee's.
Well, that'd be a lot of fun. That'd be really cool. But we'll have to keep looking at that down the woodwork.
Thanks, bye.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll keep it going with Chris Baldwin.
Hey, what's a house of, kickers, or I guess special teams guys who's got the long snapper too? I mean, what's that like, and how did you guys sort of it's just like stick together, or how did that come together that you all decided to live together?
Yep. So myself and Gavin were just living in dorms on campus, and then Bubba was living down in Pearland with his parents' place, which I believe is about a half an hour drive or whatever it may be. And then we were sort of talking about it, and we thought we'll try to get, because obviously I want to experience the city and area. So we moved out to East Downtown, I think it was, a little bit closer to the city rather than obviously on campus. So we just spoke to it a few times, and we managed to find a little bit of a place. And I sort of thought it'd be good for us to live with each other, as I said, because we are the battery of the special teams. It's really good to get to know guys and feel comfortable with the guys that you pretty much, like, you can lose a game. For example, if I bugger up a hold or something like that, it's good to feel confident and get to know those guys as much as you can. And it obviously for me, it builds a great experience with actually living in America and doing different things and being available for different aspects and doing a few different things around the town.
Thanks, Chris. We'll keep it open if there's one or two more for Laine before we let him go. Joseph? Well,
Laine, I did want to ask about the Scott Street Specialist. I think that's what you guys go by on Twitter. You mentioned living with them, but is there just something different about? I mean, I guess since you hadn't played football, you didn't know maybe the history with special teams and stuff. But is there something different about that group of guys that you're with, maybe compared to the rest of the team? Because you guys are truly in your own world by yourselves at times during practice.
Correct. Yeah, it was. It sort of surprised me a bit how much, because I wouldn't expect how much time I'd be spending with the guys, because I wasn't aware of how everything sort of worked. But that's the thing. It's like we've only got ourselves to sort of talk to or like give each other feedback. So a lot of the time, I'll probably think we're maybe the harshest critics on each other, because we might be the only ones that actually know what sort of, like, if somebody buggered up. I say a few of my punts might not have gone too well, but they might still go into the right area, and a lot of my other team have to be like, oh, that was a really nice ball. And then when you talk to the specialists, and they'll sort of go, oh, well, what happened? Because it didn't look great, or whatever it may be. We probably keep each other in check, just because our job is pretty difficult. You always have a lot of the other guys suggest, oh, it's pretty easy being a specialist. And you go, well, we might, for example, only get, like, if I only get 4 punts for the game and I maybe kick 2 of them 20 yards or whatever it may be, I'm 50% for the day. Whereas if you're a position player, you might get 100 attempts at tackling somebody or whatever, and if you miss 2, it's fine. So we just like to keep each other in check and make sure everyone's going well and keep the confidence up, because that's a big specialist thing, is just confidence, which at the moment the specialist group are going pretty well.
Some coaches don't call their punters by name. Do your coaches call you by name, or are you just the punter?
It probably depends how well I punt. I think I've got my name a few times this year. I think last year I might have got just the punter or something like that. But usually at the moment, I think I've got my name, which I'm pretty lucky with. But yeah, it's that was a different aspect as well. Try to get used to that. Do the guys actually know my name or what it might be? But no, they've got it all sorted.
Thank you, mate.
No problem. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll give the last question to Chris Baldwin. Chris?
Laine, you sort of talked about how, kickers can be treated differently, but it seems like Dana's always put an emphasis on special teams. Can you see that? Have you seen that, in your time here?
Most definitely. I always speak to a few, obviously, other boys at different schools, and they always ask, "Oh, does your coaches actually care about special teams?" And I've been really surprised with actually Holgerson's push and drive for actual special teams. So he will always, pretty much every meeting that we'll have, he says special teams can win games most of the time, and it's just he just tries to show and tell the younger kids that are coming in, if you want to improve playing time, be good on special team, be good on punt, be good on kickoff. And he seems to make it actually, from what I understand, is he believes that it is actually worthwhile. And I really enjoy Holg, and he's supported me the whole time. And I think, I believe he truly loves, obviously, special teams.
Laine, we appreciate your time, and we wish you the best of luck on Saturday.
Awesome, boys. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. Art, thanks so much for your time here today. We appreciate it as always. Everybody will wrap up here with defensive back Art Green. We will open up questions. Ask media to use the raise your hand tool. We'll get things passed along your direction. And we can get started with Andy Yanez. Andy?
Hey, Art, how's it going?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just curious from the perspective. We've heard Holgerson, we've heard Doug Belk talk about how the message to you guys has been doing your job and focusing on the little details going ahead against Rice and going forward. From your perspective, what's kind of the vibe been like among the defensive backs, with that message, and has there been a kind of a reiteration of that message amongst each other?
Right now, I would just say, just like you said, the little details that's kind of been harped on, like since the game, and just come into practice every day just to win the day. Just know your job and just key in on all the details that you can and just give it 100%, because we can't afford to come out to practice on a Tuesday and half step. Like, you got to come out every day. You got to win the week. Just on how you prepare, you got to win every day so you can win on game day, and that's just kind of the vibe right now. Because like I said, you just can't come in here half stepping and expect to win.
Thanks, Andy. We'll send it over to Chris Baldwin. Chris?
Hey, Art, how's it going?
I'm good. How you doing?
How would you rate your first 3 games, here for you personally, and having the more responsibility you do this year, is that sort of something you look forward to? How did you sort of approach that?
Wait, can you repeat your question one more time?
How do you look at how the first 3 games have gone for you personally, and what sort of approach did you take coming into this year?
Really, I just throughout the off season, I just wanted to just make sure that I could do my job the best that I can. Is that technique wise, scheme wise, just go out there knowing what I had to do. And plus, I had Pepe and Marcus in front of me last year, and for me, I sat there and just learned as much as I could from those two. Even though they're smaller than me, I see how they approach the game, how they prepare for the game, and when they play when they play in the game, and just how detailed they are. I kind of try to copy what they do, but in my own type of twist. And I say, for my games, I've been doing well, but I just want to stay consistent and healthy for the team and just not let my brothers down on any play. That's why I say you give it 100% all week, 100% in the game. For me, that's very important, because I kind of look at it big picture, to get deep. I got teammates with kids, and I would hate to let them down. And now I'm looking at them, looking at their kids after the game, we ain't give it our all, but I'm giving it my all for them and my family, and this university. It's a lot for me. You feel me? I'm playing for a lot, and I want to show it.
We'll continue along with James Mueller. James?
Yeah, Art, sort of just going off what you said, did you feel like, obviously you got to learn from some veteran guys like Pepe and Marcus, but just last season where you're able to, get your foot in the water, get a bigger taste, has helped you in terms of, now taking over one of those starting roles, and just helped you, be prepared for that?
Yeah, because I mean, my mindset this whole time since I kind of been here, like I've been in and out, like before Pepe and Marcus was in, I was in and out in certain packages. I was in there and just hold on, let me get my mind right. I'm kind of tired. Wait, can you repeat your question one more time?
Yeah, just like sort of going in and out rather than just being thrown into the fire immediately. Do you feel like that's helped you now that you have, this bigger responsibility you're out there almost all the time?
My mindset this whole time was really just knowing it was a process, really, and just with every opportunity I had in the past, just take advantage of it, because then one day my opportunity will come to start. So then once I get that opportunity, just showcase everything that I'm capable of, and just, have coach trust me, and just know I'm gonna go out there and do my job and give it everything I got. So that's kind of was my mindset. Just go out there and just take advantage of my opportunities. And now that I'm starting, it's just this is everything that I've been waiting on. This is everything I've been working for. So it's not nothing really surprising. I'm just going out there and just doing what I know I'm capable of doing.
Thanks, James. We'll send it over to Andy Yanez.
Yeah, or kind of following along that, like you said, at Demarion and Marcus, you learned a lot from them. Have you kind of heading into the season, and now that you guys are like now going into 4 weeks in, have you been able to like kind of fill that role that Marcus and Demarion did for you for some of the younger guys early on in the season? And what do you think of some of the younger defensive backs through the first 3 games?
Yeah, as a whole, I like our DB room. We got a lot of young guys that kind of learned this fast, I would say faster than how I learned the defense, because I feel like we're better in a sense of just depth wise. You feel me? But we go to practice, I'm giving corrections, I'm giving the young guys confidence. And really that's the biggest thing with young guys, is just giving them confidence. So when they go out there, when they make a play, just get really hyped for them. Like got Latif go to practice and he's screaming his lungs off, but he still has a lineup for the next play and he can't even breathe. So, just tell him to calm down, keep playing, good play, but just keep on going and just getting them ready, So when they come in, the moment's not too big for them. They can go out there and be level and just produce and do what they do. That's kind of my message to them, is just go be you, don't try to go out there and be a hero and nothing, because the best way to do this is just to do your job. And like the plays will come to you. Just keep doing your job and your opportunities will come.
Thanks, Andy. We'll send it over to Chris Baldwin.
Art, what came together on that interception against Texas Tech, and what did that mean to sort of make a play that helped shift that game around a little?
We need to get off the field. We need to get off the field right now, and they was going tempo, and I seen something that I seen in film and trusted myself, and I just went out there and did what I knew I was capable of. Like I said, it was a big moment in the game, and I just wanted to get us off the field, really, to get the offense the ball and go score. That's kind of was our mindset. And then Jace kind of was like, "Thanks, Art. Nah, we all finna get one." And Jace went out there and did it, and then Javarius went out there and did it, and just was happy to give our guys some confidence and just to go out there and make some plays and, just get the offense the ball back as much as we can.
You had a lot of interceptions at, Hutchinson, and do those things sort of, build on each other? You get one and you can get more, or how have you sort of found that?
At my position at DB, like once you get one, you want another one bad. So now you just, every play I line up now, I want the ball to come my way just so I can, make another play for the team. And that's just kind of how the position goes. Once you get one, they just come. And you just gotta take advantage of the opportunity when it comes, And then the more you get, you get more comfortable with it. So when you see the ball, you ain't big-eyed. You just, ball, turnover, let's go.
Thanks, Chris. We'll send it back to Andy Yanez.
All right, can you talk a little bit about what you've seen from Rice and kind of the challenges they're gonna pose for you guys, specifically among the defensive backs on Saturday?
With Rice, they do so many things, but like honestly, all you can really do is just keep it simple and just go out there and just line up. Because if you line up, we know if we can line up and know our jobs, it's not a lot of people that can beat us when we focused, you know, and not doing when we doing those small things, we can win. So it's really just line up, honestly, is what we're teaching, and play with energy, you know, play with effort, you know, swarm to the ball. It's really us. Like, we know what y'all doing. We know what another team's doing. But honestly, if we just, you know, hone in on all the small things, we can win this game. We can win any game.
Thanks, Andy. We'll send it to Chris Baldwin and then keep it open if there's one more from there. Chris?
Art, does, you know, the physicality Gio, you know, plays with, does that help set a tone for you guys as a defensive backfield?
Oh, yes, for sure. Yes. Yeah. Gio is always physical, even when he playing around. So when he go out there and do his thing, it's just like you said, it's setting the tone. And we feed off of it for sure.
Thanks, Chris. Keep it open if there's one more for Art before we let him go. We will wrap up with Andy Yanez. Andy?
Yeah, or just a follow-up on what you just said, just in terms of where you guys feel like when you guys are right, I mean, you guys can go out and beat anyone up early on, past 2 games. But you feel that kind of those issues up front, is it just lapses, or has it been small things? Or from your perspective, what would have been kind of the issues, just from the defensive side?
Just small things, like you just said. It's those small things. It's literally, if this guy was in this gap, it would be he'll knock it down and it'll be 2nd and 8 instead of a first down. It's just really those small things that I would have to point out on film. Is like, that's literally all it is. And then penalties and stuff, I would say. And yeah, the penalties for sure. Like, if we have less penalties, we'll be straight. Because that means we not, you feel me, we not messing up on nothing for real. We not doing nothing stupid after the play or anything. It's just those little things. And once we get, that's our main thing right now, is just changing the perception so that we just not getting so many flags just because something don't look right. So now it's just, you know, go out there and play. Don't do nothing extra, nothing, no small stuff. Just do your job.
Gotcha. Appreciate it, man.
Art, we appreciate your time as always, and we wish you the best luck on Saturday.
All right. Thank you.